The main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as on vacation for his birthday week. Some of us get a day, some of us work on our birthdays, some of us that's all we get. He just takes a whole week off and goes to Sedona as he announced last week and everything. Of course, I'm talking about 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrae. His birthday was on Saturday and hasn't responded to anybody, hasn't done anything. Just minding his own business out there, acting like we all don't exist. As he's up celebrating his birthday up there in Sedona now, I guess, for the week. Yeah, he'll be back on Monday of next week as well for him, barring if he doesn't get washed away with these storms rolling through and everything, right? Coming up as well. So, fun times. But I got you today. Of course, Bruce Cooper tomorrow, Lou on Thursday as well. So it's going to be fun. And Robert chimes in already. Don't forget, join the YouTube chat. TME Media AZ right there at the top. You'll see a live button. Click on the live link. Robert says, I'll say it for Dale, my Diamondbacks. Yeah, that's the thing. If Dale was here today, he would have walked in claiming them. His arms got to be tired, though, climbing up back on that bandwagon ladder, right, to get to the top after jumping off all the time and everything. He's got to be dealing with it. I mean, what can you say? I'll say we got a lot of baseball talk today. First half, quote unquote, of the season is done. All-Star game begins tomorrow night. Of course, Home Run Derby tonight. We'll set the stage for that coming up as well. But we got to look back at the season. It is interesting to me. And they cut Pavin Smith. I've been saying for what, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now, that Pavin Smith is a drag on this organization. Everybody's got to answer the questions. We see it at home. I've told you stories of my kid's grandmother on their mom's side. We go to that game on Father's Day, and Pavin Smith comes up. She knows no other players on this team except for Corbin Carroll. Pavin Smith comes up to the plate. She goes, "Oh, that guy's not very good." And I go, how do you know? Oh, Grandma. All Grandma does is say bad things about him when he's in the game. If it's a drag on the fan base, if it's a drag on, the announcers, if it's a drag on the diehard fans out there, you know what it's doing in the locker room and stuff. Boom, DFA'd on Friday. We woke up to that. Well, late Thursday night. It's like 10 or 11 p.m. Thursday night is when we got the news. Friday, of course, not being here, we didn't get to talk about it, so we'll address that as well. But I do find it interesting. Bats going to tear in Los Angeles. Now, Friday's game, Ohtani gets benched. Dodgers, I expected to struggle in that game, but they still have hitters and things with Erod on the mound. Okay, cool. You snuck that one away because Ohtani didn't pitch. But beating Yamamoto, and then yesterday, I mean, just fantastic outing for the Diamondbacks. Is this a turnaround series? That's the question, right? That you have to look at going forward here. We won't know, of course, till Friday. They got the St. Louis Cardinals coming up. That's an all-important series coming up on Friday as well. So that's all. That's what we'll talk about there. But a lot of baseball talk coming your way, talking about the first half of the season, looking ahead to the second half. It is interesting, Tori's comments afterwards, and we'll get into this. I was paying attention to as much as I could on Tori's words after the game yesterday with that sweep. This team is on are they going to buy or are they going to sell kind of teetering? Everybody is leaning towards sell. That Dodgers series has everybody changing their mind a little bit. But this Diamondbacks team hasn't been able to put it together a long run. You come out on Friday and throw up an egg against St. Louis, all going to go away again, right? So it'll be interesting to see. We're going to talk about that. Lots of injuries happening over the weekend as well. Skeptical people. I'm not saying I'm skeptical about the Gallen injury. I'm just telling you this is what baseball does. Manufacture something to give a guy a break. The alternative is you have to DFA the guy. A phantom out of nowhere right elbow injury. Let's go on the IL for 15 days. Retroactive to July 9th on top of it. Okay. Yes. That's skeptical Steve coming out there, folks. Okay. That's what baseball does, man. You manufacture something, get him out of the lineup, get him time to work on stuff. You know, without the eyeballs out there, it's an excuse not to start him, not to get him out there on the mound, all of that stuff. Uh, Regardless, Diamondbacks made the right move. Whether it's one of those made up injuries that baseball does, or if it's an actual real injury, we don't know. Again, skeptical from what you see there. No issues, no issues. Boom, out of nowhere. Okay. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it is the right move though. Get him out of that lineup. You have to. Killing. He's killing this team being in that lineup 100%. So we'll get more into that as well. Papa Mike's checking in and says, just finished the business replay. Yeah, he says, don't forget, McCollum on business, 7 a.m. Well, now Monday through Thursday. I was looking at the schedule over the weekend. It looks like July 31st will be the full week back here, where we stop taking Fridays off here for the summer months, mainly. Well, Cardinals report on July 22nd, the camp. Not a lot's going to happen in those first couple days, so we'll probably still take that Friday off. Then that following Friday, July 31st, we'll be coming back for our Friday shows like normal again, just kind of refreshing, getting some stuff done around the studio, doing some graphics work we're trying to get done and everything. So we're looking at that time frame just to give you a heads up here for the Friday shows again. And everybody that tuned in on Friday for that special, a very special main event with Lou on Friday. Boy, what a dud that ended up being. Holy moly, what a disappointment. So I didn't go out to the Rattlers game on Saturday night. They're playing Tucson. They have a playoff berth clinched and everything. And I'm like, this is a big UFC event. I'm not going to drive to Glendale. You know, they get a home playoff game. Obviously, we'll go. I'll go out there and deal with that. But if not, last home playoff game, we'll watch everything on the road. We were watching it. Just dominated Tucson. Just dominated Tucson. They have one game left. They're probably not going to get up into the 2 seeds since them and San Diego are tied at 11. We'll talk about the Rattlers coming up here. But so I blew that off. I'm going to watch UFC. I'm going to pay attention to UFC. Fantastic fight card. Co-main event. I mean, it's a fantastic ending. Paddy Pimblett. I mean, instantly the bell rings and he gets the French paratrooper into that headlock or whatever, and 52 seconds that match is over. Just him hold onto his neck till he puts him to sleep. I thought that was going to be the fight of the night. I mean, it's a fantastic ending, no doubt about it. 52 seconds in, but woo! Then this Conor McGregor thing. I told you guys. I told you on air last week. This is Conor McGregor. This is kind of like, Mike Tyson and that YouTuber, Jake Paul or whichever Paul brother he is. I told you guys. I was like, this is all this is. He's going to come out there. He's going to, go out there. I said he's going to throw a punch. Holloway's going to barely move on it. And he's going to be like, oh, crap. I don't have my power. I don't have this stuff. And you got all that. And it's just like, it's even worse than that. Call me conspiracy theorist if you want to. I did a lot of reading about this yesterday. You got to be careful what you read. People inside the business, people outside the business, people that follow the business but isn't close with UFC. I just think he was injured going into that fight. They knew it. They knew his knee was injured. So then you have to ask yourself, why did he jump? If you don't know what we're talking about, Conor McGregor, nothing happened in this fight. He jumped at the beginning to do a leg kick, downhill from there. It's literally done, and he ends up quitting, literally quitting in the ring because he can't continue because his leg wouldn't let him, his knee. 80% of the tickets were on Conor McGregor. That's why I didn't trust this fight. Yeah, I had Holloway winning it. I took that bet that Lou had not to go into round 5. Boom, won that one, obviously. I had a great Saturday night for my minuscule bets out there. The ones that I lost, I didn't mind losing because I won something else on it. It was actually pretty fascinating. I'm starting to see what Lou's talking about. Now I'm small potatoes. I'm $5. Doesn't matter. Whatever. It's nothing. It's just kind of a fun thing that I do, just to have some fun. I understand if you're not into gambling and you don't like it, I get it. But you know, a lot. I learned a lot. You learn a lot from Lou, whether you whether you bet or not. You just learn about Lou on the things. Because whether Lou picks a fight right or not, he tells you about these fighters and what their mindset is and all of that. King Green was a fantastic fight there. Just that lived up to all the hype and everything as well. But I did so good. My account, highest it's ever been. I have to withdraw some money later on today. I told you guys before, I just put $100 into there. My DraftKings, I had a refill once. Um, but it was still using money I had won from FanDuel at that point. I use DraftKings mainly. I shop around, but mainly for UFC. Yeah, I'm gonna have to withdraw some money and put it aside. Because of the way it was. Robert says, or Mike says, what? You don't like 2.5 minutes of a two main event fights? No, I didn't expect much from the Connor one, and even I was disappointed in that one. I expected nothing from the McGregor fight. Zero. I thought it was going to be a dud. And even I was disappointed. You can't tell me that knee wasn't injured going into that fight. That was just a weird situation. Then you go back, and I'm watching all these people go back to when he walks out to where they check you out, before you go into the ring. He was like jumping around, a little tender on it. Then somebody's got a video of him going into a pain management building, walking into that, kind of a limp on it before the fight, a couple days before when he's training. Yeah, no, folks. Is it possible the UFC let a guy go in there with a bad knee? Just utter disappointment. Like, to me, the bigger disappointment was St. Denis and Patty the Batty. I was like, what? This is over? I expected that to be long, hard fought battle between those two guys. Yeah, Ethan says, I also called he would get hurt. Ethan did in this chat. Trust me, Ethan hasn't let us relive that down since Saturday. But Ethan did call on this chat last week when we talked about that Connor was going to go. We questioned, I think it was me and Robert, might have been somebody else, but I think it was me and Robert. We questioned if he would even show up for this fight. Like there'd be an excuse or an injury or something to that effect. So he made it to the ring, and I was like, all right, he made it to the ring. I did like his mic work leading up to it. It's just, he's the best at it. I'm close. The Holloway and him mic battle that they do. I thought it was fantastic. It's just utter disappointment. And then it's one thing to get injured in the ring. If he was injured going into it, it's just, what are we doing? Especially a knee. I don't get it at all. Yeah, Robert says not all of them can be Royval Kavanaugh. Yeah, I know. King Green fight was. I don't know. That Royval Kavanaugh fight was really good. That King Green fight, man. He was getting his butt handed to him. And just turn. Boom. Yeah, Robert says maybe Ethan should host with Uncle Lou. Robert, don't give him ideas. Papa Mike says the biggest thing I learned about from Lou about 3 to 4 years ago is to take the emotion out of betting. Yeah, that's why you don't bet against your bet. I don't bet my teams very often because you can get kind of wrapped up in that. Like ASU football, I rarely bet. Like I said, I do $5. I can lose $5. It's not the end of the world, and stuff like that. I put $100 into my account. I'm still playing off of deposit from whenever gambling became legal here in Arizona. So it's literally costing me nothing to do this and everything, and it's just fun. And if I lost the $100, like, I lost $100 over several years. Oh, well, put another 100 in there. Not a big deal. And hopefully stretch it out, right, to get through it. My goal is every end of every football season to still have money in there. That's kind of how I look at it, to be honest with you. But what a disappointing UFC fight. It was just like, all right, this is ridiculous. Let's get out of here. After how good the fight had been leading up to that point, it was just amazing to see. So that was my weekend. Pretty simple, to be honest with you. Nothing exciting really happened to me. Stayed to myself a lot and things, and they went to a UFC get together for that. That's some fun. There yesterday, lounged around all day. Went to dinner with Autumn. Pretty easy weekend, man. Watched some NASCAR. Watched some late night NASCAR last night. Rain delay pushed that. That didn't end till 2 a.m. roughly Eastern time over there in Atlanta. It ended up being a good ending. I fell asleep toward the end though. I had to finish watching it this morning, right? But I did think Mario Batista fight was really good. Of course, Lou had Batista. I thought Batista. I like the way he fights as well. He beat Sandhagen on that side. Royval again beating Kavanaugh was a great fight with that submission. King Green and McKinney. Green ended up knocking out McKinney there in the first round. 1 second to go. I thought the referee called that a second to. Was McKinney down? Yes. Was he not doing anything? Yes. Had his hands over his head and was just kind of laying there. But with 1 second till the end of the round. Now that's one of those I lost because I had round two starting in that fight. 1 second from getting that, whatever it was, $10 or whatever I was going to win off of the, or $10 return off of the $5 bet, so win $5. But I don't know how you stop a fight with 1 second to go unless the guy is seriously hurt. Right? Let it go into that round and then see what happens. But that ref stopped that one. That was a quick turnaround. The Whitaker Krylov fight was amazing. Whitaker is so undersized. Compared to Krylov, I was able to do it. Gable Stevenson lived up to his reputation coming in his UFC debut. And actually, that fight took longer than it should have. Low blow there, Stevenson on Ellison, so they had obviously had to rest and things to that effect. So that took a while. The Garbrandt Yarnez fight, first round KO there by Yanez as well. That was kind of expected. A lot of play on Kai Kamaka there, right? Play Las Vegas kid going in against Luke Riley. Whew, how good is Luke Riley? Not a surprise he won, but man, how good is that kid as well? Pretty fantastic to see him fighting as well. So I don't know. I had a good overall. It was a good fight. Tell the final two. That's all we can say about that. Utter disappointment the way that ended. Overhyped. Like I said, I wasn't buying into the McGregor hype, and even I was disappointed. So the 80% of people that were putting their money on McGregor and thinking this was going to be a good fight, I could only imagine how disappointing you guys are in that one as well. Yeah, Robert says the King Green fight was sketchy. Called it with 1 second left. Yeah, no, it blew me out of the water. I was shocked he called that. I don't know if he was hurt or not. I don't know if the ref saw anything or heard anything, but to me, if anything, you jump on King Green so he stops pummeling him for that 1 second and get to that end of round there. But I don't know. I have a lot of question marks on the ref. Now the bigger fights, I think the refs do a very good job. I just think some of these lower end fights, by lower end I mean lower on the card fights, I think the refs are a little quick sometimes to hop in and things to that effect. But I don't know. It's hard for me to say when I don't know their technique. I don't know what their thought process is and things to that effect as well. So that was my weekend, folks. Hopefully you had a better one than I did. Mine wasn't bad. It was just I had a whole lot of nothing going on this weekend. And I literally lounged around the house all weekend, just getting stuff done around the house as best I could. Working on stuff around here, of course. Getting that all done, and that's it. Simple, quick and easy. We're about to get busy, right, with football season starting coming up here. So it's just relaxation, recharging the battery. I did watch a lot of the Major League Baseball. I didn't watch it. I paid attention to a lot of the Major League Baseball draft, mainly because a lot of ASU kids were being drafted. The number one draft pick was out of Hamilton High School. That did end up happening. That's fantastic to see. Local kid number one. Talk about that as well coming up. So what's it? Diamondbacks? The reason you just don't get excited about the Major League Baseball drafts, or I don't. Here's the main reason why is number one. You're not going to see most of these guys for 6, 7, 8 years, if ever. If ever. If ever. I just don't get excited about the draft. It's cool to see ASU kids go. It's cool to see Arizona kids go if they get drafted. I think only one got drafted. If one did, I think only one did, and I think he might have been a transfer. He transferred in for last year from someplace else. Right, it's only 1 year down there. But as besides, Arizona had a bad year last year. But it's fun to watch local kids get drafted and move up into their next stage and things to that effect. It's fantastic. One of the kids that's high up on ASU's radar, he signed a letter of intent with ASU. Top recruit. Well, he got drafted, so now he's got a decision. Does he go to campus? Because if you go to campus, you got to stay there for a couple years. Does he go to campus at ASU or does he go into the pro system? Decisions, I guess, comes down to that. So I didn't pay attention to that. We'll talk about the Major League Baseball draft coming up. Obviously, World Series over the weekend. Thursday and Friday's games, nah, yeah. About what you expected. Belgium held tough. Belgium did hold tough. We'll talk about this because I think we have the match of the tournament coming up Tuesday. Now, the thing I get why you're doing it. This is being played in America, right? These are big games. You want to grow the sport of soccer in America? I'm just going to throw this out there. Don't have the game of the tournament, France and Spain, noon on Tuesday. What? You look growing the sport when you're doing that stuff. I understand why you do it, the European time frame, etc. But you want to grow the sport in America? You really? Noon on Tuesday. The game of the tournament is going to be France and Spain. Yeah. We'll talk about the setup and what's going on this week to determine who the championship two are going to be coming up as well. And have I got an opportunity for you? Since, just so you know, you probably saw over the weekend, we did not get our bid for the Seattle Seahawks. They came back to me. I thought they were bluffing. They came back to me and said, you got to raise your bid a little bit. And I was like, nah, I think you're bluffing. I think you're just trying to get more money out of us. No, I was wrong. They definitely raised the number a little bit. Since we lost out on the Seahawks, we'll talk about that coming up. I've got another opportunity for you, sports fans. You might want to take advantage of. What was the Braxton, who listens to the show on the podcast later on in the day? But Braxton, he bought some. I talked about buying turf. It was either on this program or McCollum on Business. I think it was this one. What was that? I said you could buy the turf off recently. It was like a month or so ago. Then Braxton actually bought it. It was for some stadium. I don't remember what stadium it was now. But it's the thing. I told you, back in the day, I never looked for it, but I am 90% sure at some point I just threw it away. Like, why do I have this? RCA Dome turf for the Colts. Peyton Manning turf. So we had some fun with that. Well, got another business opportunity for you guys to invest in coming up here as well. Since we lost out on the Seahawks, we'll have to have a consolation prize. We'll talk about that coming up as well in the program. Golf over the weekend, Scottish Open. I tweeted it out on Friday. Scotty Scheffler missed his first cut in 78, I think was the number. Chances? It's like 4 years, folks. That's over 4 years, almost 5 years. So he missed the tournament. Scottish Open. It's a big one because you have the 154th Open Championship. Of course, it used to be called the British Open. Now it's just called the Open Championship because we have to be snotty with our cup of tea. Yes, the Open Championship this weekend. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's this weekend. But Scotty Scheffler missed a couple last week. It was interesting watching Scotty Scheffler not make the tournament. And then, he's had this run of not playing well on Thursdays and then having to make a run on Fridays to make cuts and then make a run on Saturday to get in the conversation of winning it. It just didn't work for him. Eventually that fails on you, right? As you look toward that stuff as well. Tom Kim ended up getting the win. I did see somebody put a small wager on Tom Kim winning the Scottish Open. I don't remember the dollar amount, but they won like $4 million off of it. Yeah. Heck of a return. I'm talking small bet. I'm talking like 10,000 or something. I mean, small compared to what you win, right? I mean, I bet $5, folks. I would have bet $5 on Tom Kim if I was going to put money on him. Only time I deviate from the 5 is I'll go to 10. Yeah, that's on my season long bets. I'll go to 10. Like right now, I have the Ravens under 11.5. Maybe it's 11. One of those two. That's a $10 bet. It just sits there, until the season goes and stuff. Those ones I'll do 10, but generally it's 5. That's what I do. It's just more fun on the season long for some reason to go to 10. I don't know why I do that. But this was obviously a giant get ready tournament here in the Scottish Open for the Open Championship this morning. Yes. So that'll be interesting to see going into this. Obviously, all the big guys are playing there. All the guys are ready to go for this major this weekend. Kicks off obviously Thursday. Played over Royal Birkdale is where this is played. Starts Thursday, so obviously it'll be an overnight tournament. You catch the replay all day long coming your way. But how does the eyeballs to me would be how does Scotty Scheffler rebound from struggling so much at the Scottish Open? Same weather, same conditions, similar courses. It'll be interesting to see how Scotty Scheffler does recover this weekend after missing the cut for the first time in a long time. Missing the cut in the States is one thing that you just private jet home. He missed the cut. What did he do? Did he go sightseeing? Did he work on his game? Did he go sightseeing? What did he do? Anybody see anything on was Scotty Scheffler seen it like a castle sightseeing over there at one point this weekend? Since he wasn't playing? My big question. We got the Open Championship. Going to give me plenty of chance for my bad British accent to do this week. Yes. Oh, of course. Tea and crumpets. Interesting. Ethan said, "Don't forget, we saw on the broadcast someone put 900,000 on Connor to win." Oh, that's right. Late, they put it on the broadcast. I forgot about that, Ethan. Again, first of all, that was a shocking bet there for me. We had 900,000 on Connor to win. Because Connor was an underdog. And it was late, too, that they put it down. I think at that point, I don't remember the odds at that point because I looked them up at that point. But I want to say Holloway was like a 325 favorite. So Connor would have been like a plus 210 or something. Yeah, $900,000 late on Connor. Hope he didn't. Hope we didn't need that money for something, right? Papa Mike said that ref's family probably had their money on that fight. He needed to guarantee them a win. Well, over under was 1.5, so you were safe there. King Green was getting his. I was like early in that fight. I was like, well, lost this one. This isn't going to round 2 to start. I had the round 2, and I had 1.5 over. I did the over 1.5 like on Tuesday or Wednesday of the week, because it was a low number. And then I decided to go start round 2. I wasn't sure it would go 1.5 later in the week. I think I did that one on Saturday, and I missed them both. But one enough with the other fights, right? That's part of the battle. Because I had Green winning that fight as a plus number. So Green also was like, I got him at plus. Let me look it up here. Let me be factually accurate on this. I know on Saturday Green went to the favorite on Saturday. And then it became almost a pick 'em right before the fight as well. Making me log in again here. But I did have Green as a plus number earlier in the week. I think I took that on Thursday when Lou was in here. Or excuse me, on Friday when Lou was in here, it was a plus number. Let me just see. But it was amazing how this line moved, is what I'm talking about here, on how everything moved quickly. We had Bautista at plus 110 as well. We told you already about that, the local kid. It's King Green. I took him on Friday morning, plus 110 is what I got him. He was minus like 120 on Saturday, and I know at one point it got to a pick 'em right before the kick and everything. It was great, right? Ethan said, "Did Jet get drafted?" No, we did not, Ethan. I know who he's referring to, Queen Creek High School as well. Then Robert says they only drafted 3 that were from high school. High school? Yeah, Ethan says Jetberry. And says, Boise? I don't know what's happening right now. Not a lot of high school kids get drafted in the Major League Baseball draft. They're going to change that format and stuff coming up. Now it seems like it's all college kids. Robert also says that dude bet 47K, had him at 84 to 1. Connor at 84 to 1. I got confused, guys. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't read the chat when I'm confused by it. Papa Mike says, everyone have a great day. You too. Papa Mike's back from vacation and everything. Oh, he's buying a used car, Papa Mike, as well. Good luck with that. Not cheap as well. Oh, and then he's got to buy a car later in the week as well. Woo! Oh, that's right. Ann was right. Boise was the turf thing. Papa Mike, first of all, go have fun buying a used car. Hopefully that's a smooth process for you out there. Appreciate you tuning in at the beginning. That's right, the turf. Sorry, Ann. I got talking about so much stuff to open the show, having some fun here. I forgot about the turf. Yeah, I think it was the Boise turf and then Braxton ended up buying it. He messaged. I can't remember if he put it out on Twitter or if he did on the show, but he went out and bought a piece of the turf. I think he put it out on Twitter as well. Oh, Tom Kim was an 84 to 1. That's right. And that guy bet 47K on him, and he had him at 84 to 1. That's right. So 2 big bets, right? One guy lost at 900K and then went on. I know, guys. I know. I'm slacking on the chat. I've jumped around and I got confused on you guys. It was the Boise turf there as well. Yeah. Robert said, "First, are with you, Mike, in terms of buying the used car out there." It's never a fun process, man. I remember, what was that, a year and a half ago or so when I bought that new car for mine. Walked in, I was like, here's what I'm paying. Here's what I want. Give it to me. And I was still there for like 2 days negotiating with them. It was stupid, ridiculous. Never easy buying a car. They don't make it easy. Just take my money and give me my car. Son, Summer League's going on as well. Summer League is exactly what you expect it to be. Pure garbage. But I told you guys before, what I watch on the Summer League, what I'm watching for is how do guys compete, right? Co-compete. He should walk into the Summer League and dominate it. At least not dominate it, but at least have success in it. He shouldn't look like he's never played basketball before. And he'd had some success. Melowatch having some good success as well. That's what I look for in the Summer League. If you've been drafted, especially a first-round draft pick, you should walk into the Summer League and have some success. You should be better than most of the kids playing in the Summer League. So we'll talk about the Suns here and kind of what we've seen so far from them. Good success from the young guys, I think, here in the Suns Summer League. Talk about that coming up as well as we go on. So the Open is this weekend. Grab your tea and crumpets and your hunting dogs with your horns, burp, 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 or whatever you do for those dogs. Yeah, I know. Bad stereotypes I got going there. Don't brush your teeth for a week. British tripe. I know. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Coming up. Let's get into it. We've got a lot of baseball to talk. We got World Cup. Let's get into the World Cup when we come back. Get that done here in this hour. Of course, I got some NFL stuff for you. Besides the Seahawks being sold, we'll talk about that. Because that's actually Paul Allen. He's been dead for a few years now, but obviously no kids, no family other than his sister out there. She took over his trust, and he put specific things in his trust after he was gone, what to do with the Trailblazers and the Seahawks. It's actually a really nice story for him to do as well, and it's fantastic. We'll talk about that coming your way. Plus, I know if you're not into video games, I get it. We'll talk a little video games here around the NFL because the all-important to the players, Madden, over 99 listings out there. A lot of talk. Cardinals, a lot of talk over the weekend was Cardinals lowballing Trey McBride in that negotiation that they had. What's Cardinals lowball everybody, folks? If you don't know, ask Jacoby Brissett right now. But news on that coming your way as well. So look, and then a lot of baseball to wrap up the show in the second hour. So come back and join us. The main event. See you in a minute, folks. And we're back here, main events. Having some fun here on this Monday as well. Don't forget, like, subscribe the YouTube page. For those of you that don't like YouTube, well, we got all of our programming over on Rumble, including a new episode from The Real Matrix came out on Friday at noon. It's on education out there, so check that out. I know the Angry Fan appreciates everybody that catches that program and the free podcast of it as well. The numbers on the podcast are amazingly a growth here as well for his programs. And a new episode came out on Friday. Of course, if you don't like YouTube, you're obviously not watching us live, you're catching us on demand. It is over on Rumble for those of you that are into that. All of our programming, of course, and then the free podcast systems. And for those of you that are able to, because of work obligations, join us from 8 to 10 every day on the main event. Thank you very much. Don't forget, business show at 7 in the morning as well. We get you updated on the market, stories around the business world. A lot of fun at doing that at 7 as well. While you're getting ready for work or driving in, just tune us in and listen. We'd appreciate it very much. Of course, Pit Stop coming out later this week. Last night, late night Atlanta race, 3.5 hour roughly rain delay. Pushed that race to finish like 10:30, 11 o'clock our time last night. Yes, Ryan Blaney got the win. Some things happening around NASCAR as well. They go to Nashville this week. So we got the Pit Stop coming up. IndyCar gets underway, and Oval coming up this weekend as well. So it'll be a fun weekend. I believe maybe I have it backwards. Is IndyCars? Let me just double check. IndyCars at Nashville this weekend. I think I might have them backwards. Oh yeah, that's right. I had them backwards. IndyCars in Nashville, north of Wilkesboro is where the NASCAR boys go to this weekend. So I did have them backwards, folks. I do apologize for that. Just like me reading the chat, I'm just all confused now as well, I guess. It's like a little World Cup out there. Thursday's game. All right. France ends up winning it. I think France is the best team on the pitch. I think they're going to win it all. Then you got the Spain game as well. Good entertaining game on Friday. You know, compared to what we've been seeing, though, just your typical football match out there for those guys. Honestly, I thought those were just standard football games, is what I thought those were. Not a knock on it. Everybody settle down. It is not a knock. Bigger point is, I thought they were just standard games, which after all the excitement we've had in this tournament, kind of felt like a letdown, right? that we had to deal with. France beating Morocco 2-0 on Thursday. Not a surprise in my eyes. Spain beat Belgium. Belgium held in there. I was actually impressed with Belgium. They're a tough little gritty team, obviously destroying the United States. But Spain beat them. Spain's a better team than Belgium, period. So that sets up France-Spain tomorrow at noon, which sucks. Because if this game was more of a primetime or late afternoon game, more people would tune into it. This is the best of the best battling it out tomorrow at noon, folks. If you haven't been watching games or you're deciding you're not going to watch it with the U.S. out, France-Spain is a game you're going to want to watch. Here's an interesting thing about it. Spain has knocked France out of the tournaments, now international tournaments, for a long time. EuroLeague out. Spain advances. France struggles against Spain. France has a ton of talent, so does Spain. Spain coming into the World Cup was, if not the favorite, definitely one of the top 2 favorites going into this tournament to win it all. France has shown they're just an unremarkable team. They just win with ease. They play with ease. They had that tough game a couple rounds ago. Didn't phase them at all. This is probably the game of the tournament. This might be your championship game, meaning winner of this game wins the whole thing. I got France advancing, but don't sleep on Spain, folks. This is going to be, I can't express it enough, in terms of football, this is a heck of a game coming up tomorrow at noon. Now, it just sucks it's at noon, our time. Just sucks about that. Then on a Wednesday, England, Argentina. Of course, England dispatched Norway. That was such an evenly game. I'll tell you this, the England-Norway game, whoever won that round, should have won it. What sucks about that is Norway probably deserves to be in the Final Four. They're that good of a team. They just went up against another really good team in England. And I feel the same way. If Norway had won that game, I would have told you England, should be in the Final Four. This is not your grandpa's England team. Finally, England has a team that's gritty. They're tough. They handle adversity well. They don't cower to the adversity. England's a real threat in this as well. And then you got Argentina, Switzerland. Switzerland went down to 10 men in this game with plenty of time to go on Saturday night. Me and Ethan were watching this game while the main. At least we had the World Cup going on in extra time for to watch that while these main events of the UFC were struggling. But Argentina 3, Switzerland 1. Now it looks lopsided in that extra time, but Switzerland eventually gave up the 2. But man, these goals, man, curling it into corners, just beautiful, beautiful kicks there by these teams as well. But Switzerland playing with 10 men. I mean, the guy flopped and he already had a yellow card. I get it. It just, you hate to lose a good player and go down to 10 men with that much time left because you flopped. But that is a byproduct of flopping in football as opposed to the NBA where they let you do it. Here's the thing about Argentina, because a lot of people I see saying Argentina's back, Argentina's going to do it. I'm not so sure about that. Argentina's had a soft schedule, and they've struggled in a couple games. Argentina is the first nation to reach the World Cup semifinals without facing a single team ranked in the top 10. Yeah. So their first top 10 opponent is going to be England here that they play on Wednesday. I'm not saying Argentina's not good. I'm going to tell you. I never thought I would say this because if you would have told me at the beginning of this year that you had France, Spain, England, and Argentina, I would have told you England's the worst team in this Final Four, and it's by far. That's not the case, folks. Argentina is. I think we're going to see England in the championship game. Wow. Yeah, I think they're going to beat Argentina. As of now, sitting here, we'll see, right? Coming up from that side of it. France, Spain, I don't know. I think France is going to win it all. I'm going to stick with my France pick, but I guess Spain has a chance to win this game tomorrow at noon. France can do it. Spain can do it. The winner of this, I believe, wins the whole tournament. I think it's time that France outdoes its Spain issues that they have. They get past Spain in this, and then they get past the getting to the championship game and losing it and doing that side. So I'm going to go with France. France, England here coming up, but we'll see that over the next 2 days. This was Argentina's schedule this World Cup. They just played Switzerland, who, by the way, is ranked 14th in the nation or in the international. But they played Algeria first, Austria second. They're both in the 20s. They played Jordan, who's ranked 73. Cape Verde, who's ranked 64. Struggled with Cape Verde, no less, folks. They won 3-2 in extra time. Yeah. Then they beat Egypt in the round of 16. They won that 3-2. They had to come back, remember? They were down 2-0 in the 80th minute. Scored 2 goals to tie it up, and then it was over for Egypt then. And then they ended up scoring another one before the whistle blew for the extra time to start. They had to come back from Egypt. And Egypt's ranked 24th in terms of talent. They just beat Switzerland 3-1 in extra time as well. They're stepping up in talent here against England. Argentina is. I think Argentina days here in the World Cup might be coming to an end for them as well. That's just an unbelievable stat. Easy schedule for them. Now they can always step up and surprise us all and stuff to that effect, but good for them. Before we get into, like I said, a business opportunity for you out there, maybe it'll, invest and make money over time. I'm just kidding. You would only buy what we're going to talk about because you just want a piece of it and you put it up. Like I told you, I went to charity. Like I said, the Colts Turf RCA Dome I bought. I went to charity. So I had no problem buying it. It's like $150 or something. Yeah. Came with this plaque and a little thing. I should go through my souvenir stuff and see if I do have that stuff. But for some reason, I remember at one point just being like, why do I have this? Do it away. But, you're buying that just as a, keepsake. That's the only reason you should buy it. as if you want a piece of it. But before we get into that, I just told you, right? Argentina hasn't played anybody in the top 10. They played a team that was ranked 74th in the world in Jordan. FIFA president came out and he hinted at a possible expansion of the current World Cup format to 64 coming up for 2030 tournament. Yeah. This year they expanded from 32 teams to 48 teams. Yeah, there were some fantastic games, but was there any big upsets? Yes, South Korea went home early. Another team I'm drawing a blank on right now went home early when they should have probably advanced on. Does the expansion from 32 to 48 mean we saw better games? No. You're stuck with those really good games to where you kind of lean that way. But when you think about it, right, you go from that. So now you're going to, you have the 74th ranked team in the world in the World Cup. Cape Verde ended up being a team that competitive in this tournament. They took Argentina to the last seconds of a thrall there, right? And wasn't able to pull it out. So I'm not saying some of these smaller teams or older teams can't have success in this to their level, right? But none of them are winning it. You go to the team like the United States, which is like 16th international. They have no chance to win this tournament. They can get to the round of 32 and maybe 16, and that's it. Why are we expanding it to put more really mediocre to less than good teams in this tournament? Well, it's for money, obviously. Ratings, I think, is what it's for. But is it necessarily good for the sport, is my question. And I bring that up just because, again, college football wants to expand. Adding more teams to a college football playoffs, does that mean we're going to see a random team win it? No, you're going to get your same teams at the end. We got the four best teams in the World Cup final. We got the four best. And if Norway is probably the best one left out, and then there's a drop off to everybody else. So I did. It's interesting. Last week, the Athletic did put an article out. And the headline is: Should the college football playoff expand? Here's what the 48 team World Cup can tell us. And I haven't read the whole article yet. This was put out last week. I saw it. I saved it. I just haven't gone through it and read it yet and stuff like that. I don't think it's better for the sport. Yeah, you can have a team like Cape Verde, but how many of the other teams just showed up and they were fodder for these teams? Argentina was beating those lowly teams like 3-0, 2-0, fairly easy games. This expansion isn't what you think it's going to be. So we'll talk more about expansion coming up, but FIFA's looking to do that now coming up. 48 to 60. How many nations are there in the world? Let's look that up, first of all. At some point, we're just going to have every nation in the world in this tournament. How many nations are in the world? 195 recognized countries in the world. Let's do some math here. And I'm using my calculator here because you don't want me to do this. 32% of over a quarter of the world will compete in the next World Cup if they expand it to 64. And a lot of those teams won't be able to compete in that team. Now, the Olympics recognizes 206 countries. So, if you want to go off that number. Why does they do that? Well, because Hong Kong's its own independent nation, even though it's not. Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but they get their own flag in the Olympics. So that's how you go up to 206 on the Olympic side as well. Interesting enough, the U.S. Intelligence Agency, the CIA, they list in its World Fact Book, so this dependent areas and sovereign territories, 237 countries. But basically, there's 195 nations for expansion. I just don't think expansion is something that's going to get us excited about. I just don't. Robert says, what is the soccer equivalent of a position player pitching? That's a good question. I guess the goaltender coming up. Like, if you notice this in a couple of the games, I forget which game it was, but the goaltender for the team losing was going up like for corner kicks and things and trying to play on that. And then he'd run all the way back to his goal again. So they can't get in so they can't get an empty netter. Maybe that would be it. Ethan says FIFA just wants more money and they want fans. That's it. I mean, that's all it comes down to. I mean, like Cape Verde is a great story, but it's a rare story that happens. So then you can argue, but Cape Verde gave us a good story. Yeah, but how many of these teams that wouldn't have been in this tournament if you didn't expand it wouldn't have been there? And they weren't good in the tournament. They just played their 3 games, lost all 3, and went home. Look at you, Turkey A, who is better than where they played. So anyway, expansion might be coming for the World Cup. And that's the other side of it. The World Cup next time is played in Morocco, which is on the northwest corner, roughly, of Africa. Just south of Europe. These games are going to be played. I guess you let more countries from that hemisphere into the tournament. Bring up the hype and everything. It's just amazing to me how all these networks are going to be bidding, and the streaming networks are going to be bidding for FIFA based off of this year's World Cup numbers in the United States. It's kind of fascinating because it's a huge number. You're not getting this number next World Cup because of the timing and stuff like that. I don't think. Maybe you will. It's interesting as well from there. But expansion coming. We can learn some things from the FIFA expanding here to the College World Series and that stuff. Again, as we finish this first hour. Sorry, I just realized I wrote my notes wrong here on my thing. I had NFL stuff in my World Cup thing. I'm confusing footballs here. Business opportunity for you if you want it. The final pitch, the final game of the World Cup is going to be played at MetLife Stadium up there in New Jersey. They got to convert it back to artificial turf afterwards because NFL players don't deserve turf, folks. Or they don't deserve natural grass. They deserve artificial turf. According to FIFA, quote, each piece of the final world pitch that you can buy, each piece contains an original fragment of the iconic final playing surface, making it a unique collectible that celebrates one of the world's greatest sporting events. Here's my question. How do you keep natural grass alive in a container? Won't it die? At least the RCA Dome Turf or the Boise Turf, the Boise Blue Turf, at least that's artificial turf. You don't have to worry about dying. Doesn't natural grass die in the environment? Are they going to seal it to where the grass won't die? Are they going to have little sprinklers go on and a mower go in there and mow it while it's on your desk? That's a legitimate question I got. Because the reason why I'm asking that is this thing is being sold for $450. That's a lot of money for something. Is it going to end up as a dead piece of grass on your desk afterwards? $450. My God, FIFA certainly knows how to. They're very proud of their stuff. Let's put it that way. FIFA is. There you go, folks. Your business opportunity for this Monday. Overpay for a piece of turf, and this is a legitimate question. I did spend a little bit of time yesterday trying to figure out if this grass will even survive. It's natural. It's natural grass. How does it survive in this container? Because if it was alive, it grows, gets longer. We all have lawns, right? Well, a lot of us have lawns. We feel that. We know how grass works. $450, folks. Piece of the pitch can be yours. And will it survive the time frame to grow at the end? Ethan says they put out how to keep it alive. Oh, they did. Ethan said they put it out how to keep it alive. Okay. It comes in like this big clear box, so maybe you can open the box and you fertilize it. Get a little hand mower, shave it down. There's actually a way to keep it alive. While Ethan's looking for that, we'll keep it rolling here. Come back for the second hour main event. Tons of baseball talk still to come. We'll come back, talk some NFL. As Seahawks are sold, just missed out on our pick. And in terms of how close were we? In terms of percentages, we were close. In terms of dollar amounts, we weren't. We were not in the 9 billion. Like a little IFL and then all baseball folks, of course. We're here at the quote-unquote halfway point. No, it's not the All-Star game. We'll look back at last year, the first half of the season. I'm going to stop doing quotations. You guys know what I'm saying. And, of course, did this Dodgers sweep lead to some excitement going into Friday's game in St. Louis? Come on back, folks. Main event, second hour, coming up. And we're back here, second hour main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Well, Dell Hellestrae, he's off here this week. It's his birthday week. A man of his stature doesn't just get a birthday day. His birthday was on Saturday. No, he doesn't get a day. Just takes the whole week off. Yeah, as he announced last week, he's up in Sedona celebrating his birthday with his lovely bride, Brooke, there. I know the family's going up there for a few days and things as well. You know, this heat, right, for them up there. But he'll be back on Monday. Of course, we're here Monday through Thursday. Normal week for us. Coop comes in tomorrow. Then Uncle Lou on Thursday as well. So come and join us, would you? We appreciate it very much. Share us with your friends, of course, on YouTube. Live 8 to 10, TME Media AZ is where you can find all of our programming on YouTube. Well, all of our programming except for The Real Matrix. That's over on Rumble. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. Just click that channel button right above the videos. And you can pick which show you specifically want to see. Because as every day we upload our programming, the business show and then this show, we upload those right into there. And it kind of buries The Real Matrix from Friday on that main screen. That Rumble does. We're not in charge of that. We can't control that. That's what the channel pages come in for as well. Education was that subject last week as well. And a new episode coming this Friday as well, coming up as well. So before we get to baseball here and look back at the first half of the season, interesting comments from the Diamondbacks yesterday, Torey Lovello specifically. I saw Corbin Carroll in the locker room talk about sweeping the Dodgers and that excitement. And it's not lost on me Pavin Smith gets DFA'd and this team starts hitting. I'm not saying he was the problem. I'm saying, I mean, I got to be careful how I phrase this because this isn't a knock on Pavin Smith as a person. He was dragging down this ball club, folks. The way he was playing, the way they kept sticking with him. And I'll even argue Zach Gallen's doing the same thing, but now that Gallen's on the IL, it's just dragging down that locker room. They got kind of a reprieve, right, when the moves were made to where they stepped up. So it's interesting outside stuff that we're looking at as well from that side. But if you missed the news over the weekend, the Seattle Seahawks just won a Super Bowl, decided to put their team up for sale. I was actually in kind of the Paul Allen's trust, his his estate, as part of that whole deal where when he passed on and moved on, all of his entities get sold off. He had no family to leave anything to other than his sister out there as well. And so he made this deal where he had to sell everything. Trailblazers were sold, I believe, end of last year, beginning of this year, for $4 billion, and now the Seahawks are sold 9.6 billion roughly. He bought the Seattle Seahawks in 1997 for $194 million. Sold for 9.6 billion, folks. Kind of a good investment, I would argue. Yeah. So just what off of Paul Allen owning all of his assets that we know of, but mainly the Blazers closed. Blazers closed on March 30th. Actually, I'm seeing it right here. I knew thought it was earlier this year. The Blazers sold for 4.25 billion. Seahawks agreed for a sale yet over the weekend for $9.61 billion. Folks, that's over $13 billion sold that Paul Allen's estate has done. That's a lot of money. And like I told you before, his estate, his wishes, they must sell the teams and direct proceeds to philanthropy. I said charity, but they phrase it as philanthropy out there. So it's going to fund science, conservation, arts, things, causes that he believed in as well. It's all going to be done through the Paul Allen Foundations out there as well. Nobody gets any of this money. Like his sister doesn't all of a sudden get billions of dollars. She's fairly well off herself. It goes all to the philanthropy of things out there. For everybody that says, billionaires don't do anything, they just rip people off. Yeah. I don't know how you keep saying that now with that news out there as well. So your Seattle Seahawks will have a new owner. Now, who's buying them? I know we talked about this on McCollum on Business this morning from the business perspective, but the 49ers had a limited partner named Vinod Khosla. Very respected within the San Francisco ownership group. Everybody seems to like him. He bought into them about a year and a half ago or so. He's a billionaire, of course, and everything. He's worth about $13.7 billion and buying the Seahawks for 9.6. Now, it might not be all of his family's money. Might have some investors coming along as well and stuff to that effect. It's still subject to NFL approval, but I'll tell you this: if he was approved to be part of the San Francisco ownership group, he's going to get approved to be the Seattle Seahawks ownership group as well. He's just going to. You don't allow him to be minority partners without the process of being regular partners, full partners afterwards as well. So that's who's buying the Seattle Seahawks. We don't know anything about him in terms of how he's going to do on payroll or is he going to be involved or what he's going to do. We don't know anything on that side. But he's been in that 49ers mold as a minority partner. So obviously he's been working with or seeing how these 49ers ownership works, what they're doing and stuff to that effect. It'd be interesting to see what he does with the Niners. Then with the Seahawks. The Seahawks were a middle tier team for a lot of years growing up. All Allen ball, and they turned it around a little bit. A couple Super Bowls. One they lost that they should have won. Interesting enough, what does this mean? in terms of football stuff. $9.6 billion for the Seattle Seahawks, folks. Imagine what the Dallas Cowboys are worth if the Seahawks are selling for $9 billion. 9.6, closer to 10 than 9. Imagine what the New England Patriots are worth. Imagine what the New York Giants, I'll even throw it in there, the Jets. Imagine what these teams are worth. The Rams down in LA. These big market teams. Imagine what they're worth. If the Seahawks from Seattle are worth 9.6 billion, is at least sold for 9.6 billion. Yeah. The Bills, they sold for 1.4 billion in 2014. The Panthers sold recently in 2018. They were sold for $2.27 billion. Broncos in 22, I think it was, $4.65 billion. Then the Commanders, when Snyder had to unload them, their new ownership came in and bought the Commanders in Washington in 23. 3 years ago, folks. Commanders were sold for $6.05 billion. And the Seattle Seahawks, $9 billion. We're trying, folks. We put in our bid. They came back to us and said they'd like to see us up our numbers. I felt we were fairly good at our $272 that we were putting our bid in at. Hey, somebody wants to outbid us. No, I'm not going to get in a bidding war with them. I'm just not. We're just not going to get in a bidding war with them. We set our price at 272. If it's not good enough for the NFL, then good enough for them. Robert says, hopefully Michael, meaning Michael Bidwell, sees what the Seahawks sold for. Would think the Cardinals may be worth half that. Yeah. And he goes, Rob Walton, too. Well, doesn't Rob Walton own the Broncos right now? That's the thing, man. Now, it comes down to ego, of course. It comes down to ego. Michael Bidwell likes being an NFL owner. He likes to flaunt it. See that video of the wedding dress, the wedding suite in New York. He just couldn't get to that camera fast enough to let the world know that he owns the Cardinals. It's an ego thing for him. I don't have the ego that Michael Bidwell has. If my dad had something that I got to take over after he left us, and if it was worth $6 billion, $5 billion, $9 billion, I don't. I'll take the cash, please. Thank you very much. Not only will I live a happy life until I'm off of this world, so will my kids, so will my kids' kids, so will my kids' 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 kids, so will my kids' 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 kids had kids. Yeah, we'll live pretty nice. Not have the stress of running an NFL team and having half your city hate you. Right, Michael Bidwell? 3/4 of your city hates you. But that's just me. I don't have the ego that Michael Bidwell has. To him, he lives and dies with being the Cardinals owner. His whole ego. So there you go, folks. Seattle Seahawks being sold over there. Really quick, I know it's a video game thing, but it is a big deal in NFL circles. Like you can't ignore it. It's a big deal in NFL circles. They call it the Over 99 Club. And it's pretty simple. Madden's coming out here in a month or so. And, they rate the players. Every player gets on there, looks at the ratings, what they get rated. College kids are doing this now. I saw, who was it? It was somebody over the weekend that was talking about, because college football came out on Friday. And some player over the weekend was talking about what their rating was and how it was disrespectful. Yeah. They pay attention to it. But it also is a status, right? Over 99 rating means you're good at everything. Obviously, 100 would be you're perfect at everything, right? So they do all the metrics out there. So being rated 99 on Madden is a big deal. Huge deal. It's saying you're the elite of the elite out there, is what it's saying. The Madden ratings, they try to be as accurate as possible. They adjust them throughout the season and things to that effect. Here are the guys in the 99 club. Rams, Myles Garrett. We can all agree Myles Garrett's, if not the best, one of the best defensive ends to play the game. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. One of the best quarterbacks to play the game. Seemed to elevate his game a little bit more when he got to the Rams from Detroit, but really, really good quarterback, right? One of the best to do it. Bills quarterback Josh Allen at a 99. I can get behind that if I needed to. I could argue that point. Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith Najigma. He's a 99. Jamar Chase for the Bengals a 99. This is the level of players that are in the 99 club. And the Cardinals lowballed the next guy. He just went on a podcast and he just said, Cardinals have no fans here. Everybody's from someplace else in Arizona. We have no fans here. All of our people are from someplace else. Trey McBride. I saw some rankings also at the end of last week, like ESPN or something, or coaching staffs. And they had like Trey McBride as like the 4th or 5th best tight end in the league. If Trey McBride's not number 1 in the league, maybe number 2. If you put him lower than 2, though, I don't know what you're looking at. Because Brock Bowers plays for a bad team, doesn't get thrown the ball. He's really good for the Raiders, but not good. Not that good. Not Trey McBride good. Play with the Raiders. Guys that Kittle to me is better than McBride, but Kittle can't stay healthy anymore. But Trey McBride's in the 99 club going into this. Like I said, I get it. It's a video game. I get it's a rating, but it symbolizes something that we don't see too much here in Cardinals land. We have the elite of the elite tight ends here on this field that plays for the Cardinals. The elite of the elite in that position of tight end plays for your Arizona Cardinals. And even a video game, EA Sports and Madden agree with us. He's one of the best out there. In their case, they're saying he's the best. He's the highest ranked tight end. No other tight end is at that level. So there we go. Now, like I said, do what you want. You look in the comments, so they're announcing all this stuff, and everybody's throwing oh, Stafford's like a 95, 96. Josh Allen might be a 97. What are we doing here with these 99s? You could argue it left and right. I get it. But here, a guy's like, how is Trey McBride a 99? You can argue the point. The bigger point here is Trey McBride is an elite tight end in this league. He's probably alone worth the price of admission. I'm telling you, folks, he's fun to watch. I think he surpassed Kittle and those guys into the best tight end in the league over the last year. Partly because of injuries. If I had to put it just side by side, take injuries out of it, to me, Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL, period. Trey McBride, to me, is second. But Kittle's injuries kind of push him down a little bit. Trey McBride's number 1. Yeah, Brock Bowers is a fantastic tight end. He plays for a terrible team. Doesn't get the ball thrown to him. We'll see this year. But Justin Jefferson's not a 99. So there you could say there's controversy. My bigger point, like I said, is he's being mentioned as one of the best at his position as a Cardinal. We don't see that too often here, folks. We don't see it too often here. Robert says, dang, forgot about that. He's part of the D-backs. Only other well-heeled person I know about. I forgot what we were talking about on that. I'm struggling with the chat today, man. But Robert about Trey McBride says, Colorado State education ain't what it's cracked up to be. Went to Colorado State, too, folks. He's the best tight end in the NFL. And then Robert says, although he's rated at 99 after 3 years of Petzing. Well, that's the other side of it. His rookie year, you were kind of like when you watched the all 11 films and everything, you saw him get exploded on blocking techniques and things to that effect. Trey McBride has improved masterfully over his years in the NFL. And you're absolutely right on that, Robert. He did that in an offense that did nothing. He did it in an offense with Penzing that just stalled constantly, went nowhere. Just like Larry Fitzgerald in my eyes. Like you look at Larry and you're like, man, he was a good receiver. He was a really, really good receiver. My God, how good could he have been if he had a quarterback that could throw him the ball for a bunch of years? If you're that good with mediocre talent around you, what the heck could you do if you have a great team around you? That's how I feel about Trey McBride, to be honest with you. He just needs to learn some. He just needs to learn some media stuff here, not go on podcasts and bash your fan club and stuff like that, bash your fan base and stuff like that. You can knock that off a little. Not here for that. July 22nd, reporting day for your Arizona Cardinals. So that's a random Wednesday here coming up next Wednesday. Jacoby Brissett was up playing in a charity golf tournament over the weekend. Supposedly hit a hole in three on a hole three, a hole in one in hole three. I didn't see it. I looked for the video. I couldn't find it. I'm shocked it's not out there. But Jacoby Brissett hitting hole in ones over the weekend. No idea where he is. Buda Baker came out last week. And Buddha alluded to, now we were off on Friday, so we didn't get to talk about it, but Buddha Baker, they went and they were working out with him in Florida. His teammates were. And Buddha Baker came out and said he's not asking for more than the market. He's not asking for a lot. So we heard earlier from Josh Weinfurst there with ESPN a month or so ago that they were Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett were significantly apart. And I told you leading up to that coming out, I told you if the Cardinals were giving him a good contract and he was balking on it, you'd hear about it. Because the Cardinals have the apparatus in the NFL, the teams have the apparatus to send messages to national reporters who would put it out. It hasn't been done. The closest we got to it was Josh Weinfurst with ESPN saying they're significantly apart, Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett. If they're that far apart and the Cardinals are in the right, let's say, where they're overpaying him and Jacoby Brissett's wanting more, like let's say the Cardinals are at 15 a year and Jacoby Brissett wants 30. I'm just telling you, folks, we would know that today because the Cardinals would have floated it out there to their media partners, and we know it. We know what that significant amount was. The fact that the word significant was used with no backup to it tells a skeptical man who sees these negotiations all the times, tells a skeptical guy like me, the Cardinals are lowballing him. There's a reason why the Trey McBride was lowballed and his contract negotiations came out this weekend. There's a reason that talk started. The Cardinals don't want to pay their guys. We've told you all along. It's 1 year deal. Maybe a 2 year to stretches bonus out or whatever for cap reasons. But you have plenty of cap space. Even if they liked Carson Beck better than Jacoby Brissett, even if they liked him better than Jacoby Brissett, the 1 year deal, 2 on the books maybe because of the salary cap. You have the salary cap space. And I'm not talking, like I said, if Jacoby Brissett's asking you $30 million, see you later. Cut him and have a good day. He's at 10, even 15, and you want to pay him 7, 6, 8 for your starting quarterback? You're in a dream world, Cardinals. You're in an absolute dream world. And we're going to find out eventually where we're at on this, right? So all eyes are on Jacoby Brissett now moving forward. They haven't signed Carson Beck yet either, I don't believe, right? God, we're really going to go into training camp with a quarterback holdout. Robert says significant is all relative. Michael thinks he's significantly taller than he is. Hey, Robert, really quick, help me out. You said, dang, forgot about that. He's part of the D-backs, only other well-heeled person I know about. Shoot a message in there and remind me. Tell me what D-backs conversation you were talking about on that one for me, because I am curious on who we were talking about when you put that in there, if you remember, of course. Guys, I'll get better on this chat thing as I go through here on this Monday as well, coming out there. So there we go. NFL talk as well. IFL, just really quick. Throw up the IFL standings, if you will, for me out there. They did get the win over Tucson, the final home game for your Arizona Rattlers in the regular season. They go to San Antonio this weekend. 10 wins for your Arizona Rattlers. They clinched a playoff berth a couple of weeks ago, their last home game out there before they went to San Diego. So 2 weeks ago now, this would be game 3 games ago is when they clinched it, I should say. They're going to at least be guaranteed the 3 seed, which means right now at least they'll be going to the Las Vegas Nighthawks. San Diego, well, they lag behind on a game. They only have 14. Rattlers and Nighthawks only have 1 left coming up as well. So can they get the 2nd seed? Yeah, technically. They didn't get the help they needed, though, with San Diego, with Vegas also beating San Diego, I believe, over the weekend last week. I'm pulling up their stuff really quick here to check it out. Let's see here. Oh, no, San Diego did beat, I spoke back. San Diego did beat Vegas 52-38 over the weekend in Las Vegas as well. So San Diego, 2 games left for them. They have the New Mexico, which is eliminated from the playoffs and terrible, as you can see there, and then Tucson afterwards. So they still have to play for that first place spot. So as of right now, the way it stands, because the Rattlers needed Vegas to lose to San Diego, that obviously happened. Here's the problem, though. You've lost to Vegas twice. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything on it because these smaller leagues don't put stuff out. Like NFL would have all the clinching scenarios and everything. They do not have that up yet here as well. But you have 1 game left. Vegas has 1 game left. I'm pretty sure you're the 3 seed no matter what if you're Arizona. Vegas has Northern Arizona coming up in Vegas on July 25th coming up for them as well. The reason why then, of course, the Rattlers have San Antonio. Vegas has the tiebreaker here over the Rattlers. That's why they needed to basically, even if you tied them. So if Vegas loses their last game, Rattlers win their last game, they'd have the same record of 11-5. But Vegas would have the tiebreaker. So they're going to be the 3 seed, which means no home games in the playoffs coming up for them. And they would play Vegas, by the way, in Vegas for the first round of the playoffs. They would coming up. They played them well in that New Jersey game, the 2nd game. Of course, the first game against Vegas was when the coaches started pushing each other and everything. Then they lost to them in New Jersey. They had the lead, and then some turnovers happened. Drew Powell threw some interceptions. They lost that game. They played Vegas competitively. That'd be your first round of the playoffs. Then, if you won that game against Vegas, and assuming San Diego would beat Tucson in the first round of the playoffs, you would then have to go do San Diego to win that 2nd round. And like I said, Coach Guy said every time they've won a championship, well, they've done it on the road as well. So next game for the Rattlers is coming up at San Antonio, who's been eliminated. Your 4 seeds are going to be the Strike Force Vegas, Arizona Rattlers, Tucson Sugar Skulls, who are 6-8, are going to get in as that 4th seed here as well, because San Antonio has been eliminated. Northern Arizona and New Mexico were eliminated a long time ago for them out there as well. So I'm pretty sure that's our seeding. Now we'll see. San Diego, Vegas still has something to play for. San Diego has 2 games left. They lose 2 of those, they're going to be out of that first place seed coming up as well. And that's the other side. If San Diego, for some reason, stubs their toes against 2 bad teams, I don't think they're going to. They would have an 11-5 record. And the Rattlers have the tiebreaker against against San Diego. So you need San Diego to lose 2. You need the Rattlers to win their final game. To get that 11-5, you'd be tied at 11-5, and then the Rattlers would have the tiebreaker to move up into that 2nd seed. So it's still alive for the Rattlers to get into a home playoff game. It's just not looking like it's going to happen coming up here. We'll talk more IFL as the week goes on as well for them. And when we come back here, let's get into it. Lots of baseball talk. Close out the first half of the season. Of course, we got all week to talk about it. Home Run Derby tonight. I've got the odds for you. Just looked it up earlier before the showtime. Talk a little NBA Summer League really quick, and we'll talk more of that tomorrow as well. The Summer League here. Kind of tell you what to look for here with the Suns playing. And then we'll do all baseball, folks. Come on back in a minute. Back here, main event, having some fun on this Monday. Of course, I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. Get you throughout this whole program, 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion, Dale Hellestrae. Well, you know, he's got to take a birthday week. He thinks he's so great that he has to take the whole week off. I know, folks. So I got you the whole week here, Monday through Thursday, of course, taking this Friday off like we've been doing throughout the summer. Of course, Bruce Cooper is scheduled to join us tomorrow. And then, of course, Lou comes in on Thursday again to talk that coming up as well later on in the week. Otherwise, I got you, folks. It's all fun and games. Thanks for joining us live here on YouTube for those of you that are able to. You know, TME Media AZ. And then as soon as we're done here, on demand, the business show is already up on Rumble and on YouTube. As soon as we're done here, it gets uploaded also to Rumble and YouTube. This show does. Pit Stop will be later on in the week as well for you. Then, of course, the Real Matrix on Friday as well, folks. So make sure you join us out there. Just really quick before we get into baseball on the Summer League for the Suns, a quick summation of it. It's not great basketball, kind of snoozer basketball out there as well. But Suns are 1-1. Go Up Pete did his debut on Friday night. Played well. He did play well, which is what you want to see. I told you all along, I view Summer League as one thing. If you're a top-level draft pick or a first-rounder at least, you should go into the Summer League and you should do positive things. You should not look like you've never played basketball before against that competition. You should have successes out there. Doesn't mean you have to go dominate it. Doesn't mean you have to score 70 points and everything or your disappointment. Just look like you know what you're doing and have success out there. Well, Pete did that on Friday. The other guy that's having good success right now is Melowatch. He's doing really well in the Suns Summer League as well. He did well last year in the Summer League, but he stepped it up a level here as well. You're seeing an improved Melowatch in his second Summer League outing here with the Suns. Two guys to watch, both having success out there. Now, watch Summer League if you want. I had it on yesterday during the morning time from Vegas, mid-morning. I had probably noon or so. I just had it on, was listening. I don't even know what game it was. And it was just like, oh my God, why is this even on right now? So there's your update. We'll talk more Summer League tomorrow. A little bit more specific. But just wanted to give you a heads up. Koa and Melowatch. Melowatch especially doing really, really well out there. So that's just what I watch on the Summer League. I'll watch it so you don't have to. How about that effect out there as well. So, but you want to see the young guys doing well because they're not doing well in the summer league against that talent. They're not going to do well when they get up to NBA level talent. That's how I look at that as well. But I want to talk baseball with you. Of course, we'll do more baseball tomorrow. Of course, All Star Game is tomorrow as well. Home Run Derby is tonight. Let's talk about that really quick here. Let me pull up here. I'm going to get the odds as we're looking at them right now. On the DraftKings is what we use on this show for our amounts. Right now, Kyle Schwarber is your favorite tonight going into this. Now it's on Netflix, and they went back to the number of pitch. You get, was it 15 swings? No clock now. So we're going to be able to hopefully see the balls actually leave the ballpark. Whereas the last few years with the clock, right? They'd hit it, you'd have the split screen, and you see it, but you're watching them swing on the next pitch. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. The guys can kind of take their time a little bit. If they're tired, they can let a couple pitches go down the strike zone before they swing again and get going. So I like this format. It's the original format of it or the older format of it. I like it a lot. I'm looking forward to this coming back tonight. Kyle Schwarber is the favorite at plus 285 going in tonight on DraftKings. Junior Caminero is plus 350. Murakama is plus 800. Jordan Walker plus 700. Caglione, he's plus 800 as well. Bryce Harper in his home ballpark, plus 850 for the home run derby tonight. You got Ben Rice at plus 800. And Wilson Contreras, long shot tonight, plus 1,400 for him to win it. So those are your odds for the home run derby tonight. And interesting enough, how do you get your star home run hitters to play? We talk about this with the NBA All-Star Game, if I may switch the two here. How do you get stars to do the slam dunk contest? Well, one way to do it is to pay them. And pay them a ton of money to do so. That's the key. Baseball's got the right path. Now, it's not huge money for these guys, But who doesn't want to win an extra cool $1 million? The total purse for the home run derby, $2.5 million. The $1 million goes to the winner of this tournament. $500,000 goes to the runner-up. So $150,000 for each of the other competitors out there. Then you can get an extra bonus for the longest home run. You get $100,000 at that point as well. So we're not talking big money. But how do you get your stars that hit home runs to play in this? Unfortunately, like most of us, for some cash on that. This is a new dollar amount that they're throwing out there too, by the way. Used to not be this much. So some incentive to be in the home run derby tonight. 5 p.m., as I said, on Netflix is where you can find that out there. After that. Yes, I know, paid thing. It's not the All-Star Game and home run derby on Netflix doesn't bother me as much as, everything being on Peacock like that Sunday, July 5th Sunday. This is just a way to grow your sport, though. This would be better if it was on like ABC tonight, NBC tonight. Young people that don't get to watch a lot of baseball, for instance, will be able to see the stars they don't get to see. Instead, you had to be on a paywall for money's sake, not growing the sport's sake. So we'll see. We'll see what happens at that point as well. Diamondbacks sweep the Dodgers over the weekend. Woo! A lot of positivity from that out there. No doubt about it. I feel like everybody's kind of gone from being down on this team and sellers. Now everybody's like, buy. You can do it now. And of course, we didn't get to talk about it on Friday. They DFA'd Pavin Smith. Long time coming. He just wasn't cutting it, folks. I saw a lot of people kind of chastising people, celebrating that he got cut. Nobody wants somebody to lose their job. But I blame the Diamondbacks for this, not anything else. Pavin Smith was so bad for the Diamondbacks that the casual baseball fan, forget about the diehards, the casual baseball fan had turned against him. And by running him out there repeatedly, constantly, every time, and running him out there and running him out there and running him out there and having him fail, the fan base turned against Pavin Smith and turned around the Diamondbacks as well. The reaction of celebration of Pavin Smith getting cut is because of the way the Diamondbacks insisted to keep putting him out there and letting him struggle. The Diamondbacks consistently telling us as a fan base and the casual fan, we need him on this team. He's good. We know what he can do. That is why you got almost a celebratory cutting of Pavin Smith. Because of what the Diamondbacks did to Pavin Smith by running him out there. Torey talks all the time about how these are his kids and he's here to protect them. How did you protect Pavin Smith, Torey Lovello? By running him out there with how awful he was. And the fan base turning against him. How did you protect him in that situation? You compounded it and made it worse. This is several decisions. I'm not saying they did it because of fan input, but it definitely helped. Remember last year with the third base coach? They kept going with him until the fan outrage got so bad they couldn't ignore it anymore. That's what happened to Pavin Smith. You didn't protect Pavin Smith. You made it so bad for Pavin Smith that the fan base celebrated when you cut the guy. That's dereliction of duty on Torey Lovello. You're not out to protect these guys. Same thing with Gallen. You're not out to protect these guys. You say you are, but you weren't. I actually felt kind of bad for Pavin Smith with the celebratory stuff. Pavin's a good guy, folks. He just wasn't good for the Diamondbacks. He wasn't. He had some moments, right? In LCS, what was that? The Phillies, I believe, right? Won that game. He had his moments. So when you see people excited Pavin Smith's not on this team, this is what we're talking about. The Diamondbacks put Pavin Smith in that bad light. Then on top of it, we've been talking about in the locker room and the drag that these decisions have on the locker room. I brought it up to Dale. Now, football and baseball are two different sports. I get that. Dale didn't spend a lot of time in an NBA in a Major League Baseball locker room. He spent a lot more in football. But I just asked him, if your coach kept throwing out a bad player that you knew was failing, and every week you saw him failing in football, eventually the locker room would be like, what are we doing? Oh, here he is out there again. You see it with closers all the time in baseball. When closers are struggling or bullpen guys are struggling and they go call them into the game. You'll see players, catchers, visibly react to that player being called out to the field. And then what happens? They DFA him. Friday comes, you get the good news, I guess you can say. Ohtani's not pitching in this game. He's going to hit. So you get that break. All right, that was the one break there. Ohtani's not in there. Dodgers had that emotional letdown by having to switch pitchers. You win that game. And then the Diamondbacks continue to look good. They hit the ball over the weekend. Almost, it looks like an exhale of, now we can go play. Whether you believe that or not, that's what it looks like. The Diamondbacks did that to Pavin. You didn't have to keep putting him out there. You could have sat him. You could have sat him on the. You could have sat him for more games. You just kept throwing him out there. It's just I get tired of. I got to protect these guys, and I'm like their dad, and I got to protect them. You did nothing to protect Pavin Smith in this situation. You did the opposite for Pavin Smith in my eyes. You didn't protect him at all. Protecting him would be, you're not doing it, kid. We got to do something else with you here. They kept insisting to put him out there. So Pavin Smith's a good dude. We'll see if he gets picked up on waivers. His contract is very friendly. Does he get picked up? Or does he not get picked up? He'll have the option to go to minor leagues. Probably decline that, I'd imagine. And then he becomes a free agent. Be interesting to see where he goes to and what he does out there as well. I just don't think he's major league material. Just don't. It's just like, what? Ugh. But Pavin was released. Diamondbacks looked well. Now we'll see. All-star games here and everything. Interesting enough in terms of stats on the Dodgers. Diamondbacks, first team to sweep the Dodgers since the Pirates did it September of 2025. This is a big feat, folks. Dodgers don't get swept. They have so much talent on their team. They just don't get swept. They'll go on losing streaks, right? And they'll struggle for 10, 15, 20 games. They won't do it. And it's your first sweep as a Diamondbacks of LA since 2017 on top of it. You should feel good about this sweep. It was a fantastic sweep as well by Diamondbacks. It was fun to watch as well. I didn't catch yesterday as much because of the day game. I didn't catch as much yesterday with other things going on. But I did go back and look at it as well there. But there's some oomph, right, to this team. Now, I told you that a sweep will do major things for a team, especially a team that's kind of been a lot of negativity around it lately. A lot of negativity with Pavin Smith, with Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly to a certain extent, other players struggling out there to hit the baseball. The frustration around this team has been palpable by far. A sweep against the best team in baseball or one of the best teams in baseball can do wonders for you. Here's Torey after the game yesterday talking about the sweep, basically like what it's like to sweep them going into the All-Star break. This is the equivalent of winning your game before the bye week if you want to talk in football. Your bye week's a lot better to go into with the win as opposed to losing that game. So Torey on the sweep. Here we go.
Just like you'd imagine, we're all excited about this series, and it happened because we played good baseball. We did the things we're supposed to do.
We talk a lot about just give your fan base hope that there's a chance. Now you got to come out and perform because you're off until Friday. Obviously, Corbin and Erod are going to the All-Star game. And the nice thing about Torey, I will give him credit on this. He was watching Erod's pitch count in that game on Saturday. Because Erod would, Erod's not going to be a multi-year All-Star guy. Probably. And he's in the All-Star game. So he was watching his pitch count to make sure that he'll have the option or ability to pitch in the All-Star game coming up tomorrow night. I will give Torey that. He is great at that stuff. But Diamondbacks are off till Friday. Then you got the Cardinals at home. Big series. Then you got the Athletics at home. Athletics are a 500 team, but they have a ton of talent on there. Then you're at that. Then they got that stretch where you're at Cardinals for that game makeup, at Nationals, who are decent this year, and then at Pirates after that. Big upcoming home and road trip for the Diamondbacks. But you got to hope here during the All-Star break that you can become the positive team. DFAing Pavin Smith. Then you get the word out of the blue. No issues whatsoever. He just sucks at pitching. And like I said, Skeptical Steve, as we'll call him, saw this and I was like, oh, the old you're injured ball trick. So you lost Pavin Smith now. He's gone. The guy that's been just been an anchor around your neck all season long, and the fan base puts a lot of the struggles on him. Just kept throwing him out there. And then Zach Gallen's the other guy that does that as well. They announced he's going on the IL. Injured. Zach Gallen was imaged yesterday, or was it Saturday? I forget now. He has right elbow inflammation. Headed to the IL. They have officially put him on the 15-day IL, retroactive to July 9th as well. I don't know if Zach Gallen's hurt or not. Baseball is one of those sports where you kind of can question it because it's just easy. Instead of DFAing him and embarrassing him, you put him on injured list, and you kind of he's just injured for the rest of the year, right? Type of a situation. That happens all the time in baseball, folks, whether you like to admit it or not. A little bit of skepticism on that side, right? But you get that news out of nowhere. No hint of it, no nothing. He's there. So now you've got the two guys that were anchors around the Diamondbacks next this year. Take a lot of grief. Gallen gone for at least a little bit. But it's going to be one of those things where it is going to stretch out to the rest of the season. maybe spot starts for him or something. But it is something to that effect coming for Gallen. They don't want to embarrass him by DFAing. Then Pavin Smith DFA. All of a sudden, you got a little bit of hope around this team. You go and sweep the Dodgers. Now you got some hope going into the St. Louis series. What we talk about? I brought this question up last week. There'll be, I said, who's going to make the change to save their job going into this? I even took it so far as does the GM get fired? I didn't think so because you got the trade deadline coming up, etc. But do you make a change on the coaching staff, whether it be Torrey or whether it be one of his coaching staffs? The easiest thing to do was make a move with Gallen and make a move with Pavin Smith, and they did that. Hope is it's not to where you think they're going to go win a World Series now. But did you notice over the weekend, even before the sweep happened? I noticed it on Friday, just on the social media page. I came in here to do the show with Lou. We found out Thursday night, about 10 p.m. Then you're just sitting there. And you just felt a different vibe on social media as with Pavin getting cut. Same thing with Zach Gallen, how he didn't start yesterday because I went on the IL. All of a sudden, you're getting some hope back into this. And they're showing that they care. That's the big thing. The Diamondbacks are showing that they care, folks. They're getting rid of the anchors around the necks of this team. And they're showing they're making an effort moving forward. And you know what? Interesting enough, they got rewarded for those efforts by sweeping the Dodgers. What we talk about here? They hold on to these guys for too long. Too long, they hold on to them. They just won't let them go. Let them go. Like those movies with the kid and the dog. You're like, oh, get out of here. Go. Hey, speaking of Gallen, here's Torrey talking about the right elbow inflammation. And Gallen, at this time, he was likely to go to the injury list. He was going to the injury list. But here's Torrey talking about Gallen's injury.
Okay, yeah, I have a Zach update. So Zach, we sent Zach back to Phoenix. So he has right elbow inflammation, and he will not be our starting pitcher tomorrow. You probably saw Brad in and around the clubhouse. So you guys can add up that part of the equation. But we got that news yesterday that he was having a little bit of discomfort, and he was examined, and most likely will be headed for the IL.
When did this pop up?
I would say post start, we were paying attention to some of the things that he was saying, and then just decided to get this thing examined by our doctors back at home.
The Diamondbacks, you don't get imaging on anybody. But what's our complaint here? They let J-Mart last year go a month before they imaged him. Diamondbacks don't image anybody. And all of a sudden, Zach Gallen's got to get in there right away for getting imaged. I know. Conspiracy theory Steve is out. I'm not saying there's not discomfort. I'm saying this is how we're going to get Zach out of the lineup. For at least a little bit. Get the pressure off of him. Coming up here as well. That's all I'm saying. Do you disagree with me on that, by the way? That's the bigger question. Other things that happened over the weekend. Waldschmidt took a ball off his hand. Did not look good. The way he reacted, the way that ball hit his hand, you were like, oh, man. He just gets called up and takes that ball off his hand on a bunt, rolled up on side of him, and then hit him square on the hand. The way he reacted, I was like, oh, terrible news. Just looks like it's bruised a little bit. Looks like he'll be all right. Avoid an IL stint, at least last I heard for Waldschmidt. And then Tommy Troy making a phenomenal catch in the outfield. Runs up against the wall there in Dodger Stadium. Hurt his shoulder. You can kind of see the pain on his face and everything. Kind of just walked it off everything. Tommy Troy is going to undergo an MRI on his right shoulder here today as well to see what's wrong with that. Interesting enough, right? What do we talk about on here? Guys don't get imaging here in the Diamondbacks. Now, this makes sense, right? If there's a game today, what do? They might not do imaging. It's the All-Star break. Get him in there. See what you got to do to have him heal to come back out. So two young guys with a chance to play, with some injuries, trying to make plays out there, ironically enough, and getting, quote-unquote, injured at that point. So of the wild card standings here, end of the quote-unquote first half of the season. Here, look what the Diamondbacks did by sweeping the Dodgers over the weekend. 2.5 games out of that final wild card spot as well. Miami, interesting enough, was dominating. Then the rumors were they're going to unload a lot of the team at the trade deadline. They came out and said they weren't going to do that. Now they've lost 3 in a row. The Marlins have. This game's a cruel, cruel game out there after being the hottest team for June and first part of July. Now they've lost 3 in a row. The Marlins. Cardinals, your opponent coming up starting on Friday at home. Cardinals come into this break. A lot of losers of 1 as well, but 50 and 45. This is where it gets interesting, right? Cutting Pavin Smith, got that anchor gone. Zach Gallen on the 15-day IL, retroactive July 9th. Perfect. Those 2 guys are gone. You got the Cardinals coming up. You can make some more. Don't you feel like there's a little bit of hope? Now, it's not like you're, like I said, they're going to win the World Series and you think all of a sudden they're going to do so and stuff to that. Isn't there hope? This team played different in LA. Now, is that because you were playing LA? Is that because you're playing the best team in baseball, your division foe, so you woke up and you played? Team has not played well against the Dodgers or any team above 500. They haven't at all. All of a sudden, they woke up. It could just be a coincidence, folks, that Gallen's gone and Pavin's gone, and all of a sudden they started playing well. Could be a coincidence. Could just be a pre-All-Star gasp of air where the Dodgers had a letdown and the Diamondbacks didn't. But isn't it interesting how it happened the way it did? Sit back and look at it. Robert says the series was weird. Dodgers were kicking the ball all over the yard. And he goes, your boy Sewald was nails. Man, I like Sewald, man. I hope he can do it for the rest of the year. I do. I like him. Again, my problem isn't with Sewald the human. My problem with Sewald was, again, Diamondbacks 2 years ago stuck with him for too long when he was obviously struggling. The Diamondbacks make you hate their players that aren't playing well. That's what I've learned. That's what I've learned in life as well. Robert says a sense of urgency seemed to come over this team. Next, they need to fix Carroll. You're absolutely right, because he's in a slump right now. He said this slump is gone for 6 stinking weeks. Again, Diamondbacks don't get out of slumps quickly. Remember at the beginning of the year last year when he was struggling? Took him months to get out of that. Then he gets out of it and starts raking. But a couple moves. That was my complaint. Show us you want your jobs, Torrey and Mike Hazen. Show us you're willing to make moves to show and get something out of it. And they did it, folks. They did the simplest moves possible. Now we'll see. Does Zach Gallen come back after 10 days or 15 days on the IL? And then he gets his spot right back? Soroka is coming back after the All-Star break. The way Fott's pitching? Who are you going to sit down for Zach Gallen? Your worst pitcher. I'm not going to say we've seen the last of Zach Gallen in a Diamondbacks uniform, but we should have seen the last outing by Zach Gallen in a Diamondbacks uniform, barring injuries. And that's why I'm hesitant to say that. Somebody else gets injured, has to miss a start. Zach Gallen obviously can go into that spot as well. And says maybe Carroll will pick up some pointers from some guys while at the All-Star events and come back better. That's the thing, man. You're around a lot of big guys that know what slumps are and knows how to get out of them with the hitting style. I'll never forget, man, and it happens a lot around the Diamondbacks. When guys are with the Diamondbacks, right, they struggle at certain things. They go to another team, and all of a sudden, those things are gone. Blaze Alexander? Jake McCarthy? Blaze got hurt yesterday. I get that. But got nailed with that pitch. I don't know how long he'll be out. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Blaze Alexander, Jake McCarthy, they go someplace else and they fix them. And all of a sudden, they're hitting the ball left and right. Jake McCarthy has another first inning inside the park home run over the weekend. Can't remember if it was Saturday or yesterday. I forget. So you're right, and maybe Carroll gets to the All-Star game and somebody pulls him aside and goes, hey, man, Here's what you're doing wrong. Here's what I would fix if I were you. You want a pointer? Here you go. Here you go, buddy. Here's your pointer. Really quick, we got some ABS system stats in the first half. We'll save that for tomorrow and stuff. But first, the Major League Baseball draft happened over the weekend. It's like 1,000 rounds. I'm being facetious here and everything. But two things happened that it's kind of cool. A Valley kid, number 1 pick overall. Now, bad news is he's got to go to the Chicago White Sox organization as well. But Rock Cholowski is the number 1 pick. Played at Hamilton as well. Selected number 1 by the Chicago White Sox in this draft. That's fantastic. Good for him. Second of all, he's only the second Arizona high school player to ever be picked number 1 in the Major League Baseball draft. Who's the other one? This is pretty easy for you old timers out there. It's pretty easy. But good for Cholowski going into the White Sox organization as the number 1 draft pick there of the Chicago White Sox. They're from Hamilton. Most, I'll let you guys decide on this. I know Robert probably knows. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Longtime ASU and people that know just sports history around here. Yeah, Robert says Bob Horner. Yeah, that's right. Of course, went to ASU, number 1 draft pick. After that, went to Apollo and then went to ASU. Number 1 draft pick out of Arizona. That's why, he went to an Arizona high school. It's not out of high school. If Robert says easy on the old timers thing. I just meant you saw the guy play and you saw him come up and you saw everything around. That's all I meant. That was all before my time. I barely remember Horner as a Brave. Born in 77 from that side. The other cool thing about the draft, besides that, the high school kid going number 1, the other cool thing is the amount of ASU players that were drafted. A record number of 10 were drafted in this Major League Baseball draft from ASU. ASU had a really talented team last year. Of course, they made it to the Super Regionals, lost to Mississippi State. So Georgia had 13 picks. Arkansas had 12 SEC teams. Arizona State and UCLA. UCLA was the best team in baseball all year round until you got to the first round of regionals, and then they lost that. But UCLA and Arizona State both had 10 players picked in the MLB draft. Now, like I said, I can break down the draft for you today. I did some research on some of these kids, what type of kids they were drafting and things to that effect. I'm just not going to lie to you. I just don't care. Remember what a hype Drew Jones was when they drafted him? He's just stuck down there in minor leagues. Remember all that hype? Yeah, you're not going to see these kids for a while, if at all, ever. They're going to get traded to another organization or not make it or just be minor leaguers their whole life. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm not going to invest hours of my time studying the Major League Baseball draft. But it is amazing. Number 1 kid from Hamilton, 10 ASU players drafted. If you get guys into the big leagues here, and the nice thing about 10 of those people drafted by ASU, I want to say 7 or 8 of them were at ASU because they tried to go in the draft last year, weren't drafted, and then they worked their way back into it again. Yeah. It's fantastic stories on the ASU perspective as well. And you get kids drafted, people will want to come play for you, of course, as your season goes on as well. As I told you tonight, Bob Horner in 78, by the way. Now, he wasn't drafted out of high school, just Arizona high school players drafted number 1. Of course, he went to ASU first before moving up into that. So, Home Run Derby tonight, 5 p.m., Netflix tonight. I'm enjoying this new format. I'm going to watch this. Normally, I'm not a home run derby guy with the format of the pitch clock and everything. I'm not enamored by the guys that are in this thing tonight. I want to see Bryce Harper at home. He should be able to launch some bombs out there. I don't know how much his heart's going to be in it because Bryce Harper is dealing with all the fallout on the gambling stuff right now as well. Thing. Yeah, Robert says Apollo Hawks. I always want to call them the Apollo Rockets, but that's Moon Valley. I told you I knew somebody at one point in my life that went to Moon Valley. And every time they said Moon Valley Rockets, they went. Apollo Hawks there for Horner. Of course, we just lost Bob Horner, just a month or so ago as well, here with us as well. So we'll keep talking Diamondbacks and the home run derby, of course, tomorrow. Still plenty to talk about this week. All-Star game tomorrow night as well. Corbin Carroll's in that. Erod will get on the mound. The question is when and how long and how much. Even though we did pitch on Saturday, they were watching that pitch count. I saw after that game, Torrey flat out said, I was watching his pitch count. He wants to pitch in this game. He's looking forward to it as well. So he was getting into this All-Star game. Might bring some more excitement. Of course, World Baseball Classic, All-Star game. Quite the year for Erod as well out there. Robert says, and I agree with this. He says, watch for Ben Rice. He gets young guy, wants to make a name for himself. As well, in the Major League Baseball draft coming up here. Like I said, I was reading the names, I was going through the stats, I was listening to a bunch of stuff, and ultimately I was just like, I'm not going to see a lot of these guys for a while. Started to get excited about NBA draft after the first few picks, right? Like, oh, Pete's exciting because he's a local kid. But if the Suns picked anybody else at 25, you wouldn't be that excited about it. You just wouldn't. You know he's not going to play much and stuff to that effect. You're hoping Koa can get there at that point. We'll have more first half of the baseball season for you. Diamondbacks over 500 at the end of the break. Again, the message here is we were talking about it last week before Wednesday and Thursday last week. Diamondbacks needed to give not just us hope, but them hope. Who is going to fight for their job and show they want to stay here? In terms of the ownership, in terms of the GM, in terms of the manager, in terms of the coaching staff. Boom, they do it. Go beat the Dodgers, instant hope restored. It's amazing how that works. I've got to wait till Friday to see how they rebound. Home Run Derby tonight, folks. Enjoy that. Of course, like I said, if you have Netflix, enjoy that. We'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday's edition. Don't forget, McCollum on Business, live at 7 on YouTube. The main event live at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 here on YouTube as well. Come and join me with you. See you then, everybody. Have a great Monday night.